Well, hello everybody, welcome back. I'm really glad you could join me once again. So today I'm going to be decorating the dining room by setting the table. I'm really excited to do this. You may remember in my last video I shared with you all of the new tableware that I bought from Rebecca Udall. So if you haven't seen that one, I suggest that you go back and watch to see all of the unboxing of the beautiful tableware. And so in this episode I'm going to lay the table. Now this morning I've already been getting started a little bit by unwrapping everything, and I've placed the beautiful amber gold tablecloth onto the table. Underneath I've got a little protective sheet because now I am going to just press the tablecloth to remove all of the creases. So I'm going to start that right now. So yeah, I've got a nice protective layer under the table so that we don't ruin the wood on the table, and also I like the feel of a more cushioned table. And then I've got this pillowcase just to make doubly sure that we're not going to damage the table. And also there have been so many times that I've pressed items and maybe there'll be a little bit of a residue on the iron, and then you get it on the tablecloth, so this will stop that from happening. So I've got lots of nice steam in here, and I'm just going to go over the tablecloth with this pillowcase on top of it, and this will make it look nice and fresh without any creases in, so that we've got a nice base for our table setting. Take a few minutes. I'm not going to be too precious about it. I just want to get the lines out of here, but I'm not really that concerned about it being totally smooth and pristine, because once all the items are laid on here, most of the surface is going to be covered up anyway. And at this time of year, I always think that life needs to be easy and stress-free. So if you can save yourself some time, always choose to do that. Well, I think for now that is perfect. Again, I'm not going to spend too much time fussing over this being absolutely crease-free. The lines are pretty much out now. There's a few wet marks. I've just sprayed with my little spray bottle just to smooth out even more. But I think this is good to go, and we should start setting the rest of the table. So now that my tablecloth is all beautifully pressed and smooth, it's time to start laying the table. Now, what I usually find when I do things like this is that my original plan in my head doesn't always turn out to work. So the linen placemats, I don't think I'm actually going to use them for this occasion, because there's 6 settings going on this table, and I think that it will just overcrowd everything, and they're overlapping, so it kind of doesn't look like I had in my mind. So I'm going to not use these today. I'm just thinking maybe if I just use them on the middle parts of the table, so here and opposite, and left the ends without, that might work. Let me just see. That could be quite nice, but I really think that maybe we should just, for now, not use these and use them for another occasion. Also, I'm having more than one Christmas dinner here at the house before I leave for my family home, so I can switch things up a little bit. But for now, I'm just going to start with my beautiful cloth. And then in terms of glassware, I've got obviously the tumblers that I showed to you last time, and I've also got some old favourites, these beautiful brown tortoiseshell glasses. Now I only have 4 of these because 2 of them broke, as happens in life. So I'm going to be using these in the middle of the table, so here and on the opposite side, and then at the ends I will use these wine glasses. And I think that perfectly represents what real life is about. I mean, I've been to so many dinner parties, and especially at Christmas when you're crowding around a lot of people at one table, you have to make do and mend with what you have, and sometimes you have to mix and match, and that is perfectly fine. So that is what we're going to do. I was also thinking, because I have the plates, whether I should put a charger underneath, and I do have those brown rattan ones. Let me just show you those. So these brown rattan, which would look quite nice and add a more earthy style to the table. So I'm going to, let me just have a think, what am I going to do? I think I'm going to leave them off, and we'll just go for a very, I've used these quite a lot, so I'm going to save those for another time, and we'll just go with the white against the beautiful gold of the cloth this time. So I'm laying our beautiful white plate here. Then we have the gorgeous tumbler glass, and then the wine glass. I need to figure out what side plates I'm going to use and what cutlery I'm going to use, but for now I just want to place these ones here. These plates are so beautiful. So I've just been rooting through my cupboards, and I found these beautiful side plates with a gold trim around, which go very well with these new plates. These are Royal Doulton, which is quite funny because a lot of times on this channel I get called Hyacinth Bouquet, and she loves the Royal Doulton with hand-painted periwinkles. None of those on these, but it's close enough. So I'm just going to pop the side plate here at the top left next to the fork. So with the side plate you can either put it on the top left next to the fork or to the left like that. Depends how much room you have in the middle of the table. What usually happens with me is that I place them one way and then I have to change it when I'm getting to the middle of the table and I'm putting in flowers and candles. Now for one of the final elements we have linen napkins. Now it is always advised to wash and press these after when you're using them for the first time. I will do that, but for the purposes of this video, for demonstration purposes, I am going to just use them like this because they are nice and pressed, looking beautiful, and I want them to look their very best on this video for you. And I'm going to do a very simple fold, so they come like this in a square, and I'm just going to fold them again. And then you have a nice detail here, and this can just rest on the plate. I think this looks quite smart. I do have other ways to fold napkins. Another great way is to take them square, turn them to a point, and then you can wrap the top over like that, so you've got a triangle, and then pull the corners across, and then you have a nice napkin like that. Very simple and looks quite chic. And then you can add it onto your plate like that, and it does look quite elegant. So whichever one, in fact I might keep it like that. So now we need to do the centerpieces for our table, and I've got these gold basket weave little cash pots where I'm going to put some flowers in. So I have just been to my local florist here in Edinburgh, Broughton Street Flowers, which is my absolute favourite, and I bought some beautiful flowers and I'm going to arrange them in little baskets. So the best way I think to do this, so that you can get some structure and form, is to use a bit of chicken wire. So I'm going to go ahead and make those, and then we'll place them on the table. It's all so exciting. So these are the gorgeous flowers that I got from my florist. We have some, I think this is called strawbus, and this is a very classic Christmas adornment when you're doing flower arrangements and wreaths. I'm actually going to get quite a lot of this to do a wreath. Then we've got some red, pinky red hydrangeas, and then I've got this, I can't remember what this is called. One of the things that I own up to, and that I will admit with my hands held high, is that I'm hopeless at remembering names of plants and flowers. I'm no bunny melon in that regard. But what I do know is that I love them, and these are the ones that I've picked. So I have my chicken wire, and this is so easy. You just pop it into the pot with some water, and then because we have the holes here in the wire, you can easily then arrange the flowers to make them look a bit more presentable. So let's go ahead and get started on this. I'm just gonna, the great thing is about these as well, they do come with a little glass insert so that the water doesn't go through the basket weave. And then we just take some of the chicken wire here. You can cut it off very easily. And then I always just put it into a kind of cylindrical wrap like that and pop it in. And then if you need some more, you can add a little bit more and cut it to the length. Like that, and then that can go in as well. And I think that will be just the right amount. This does really need to be quite short, so I'm probably going to cut it off to about here. Get rid of the woody stem and cut it through here. Take some of these leaves off, because this kind of needs to be sitting in the centerpiece on top of the glass and not really sticking up too much. So let's cut this even shorter. Take off some of these nodules so that it can go through the chicken wire more easily. And then that can sit right there in the middle, like that. And then, so that is the star of the show. And then we can just fill the rest with what we have. So let's just unwrap. It's called Pinus strobus, it says there on the wrapper. Perfect, save the day. Probably didn't need to get this much because I'm only going to be using it to kind of frill out the ends. So I'm just going to take a little bit off here and pop it into the back like that. I could probably cut it a little bit taller. And just stick this in here. This is where the chicken wire is very useful because it helps you to get things to stand up properly. We'll just put a spritz of this in here. One more, I think. This is lovely and wispy. It kind of reminds me of a beautiful, elegant hat. And I actually think that looks quite pretty. So there we go, that's what it looks like from this angle, and we'll pop it into its cash pot. So you can see. There we go. And there we have it, quite a beautiful little setting.